it going? Brian Ewald here, NAMM 2017 at the PRS booth with Harmony Central. Having a look at the amps. This is the big news for PRS for 2017. A lot of work has been done in the past year or two, researching and developing some new amps. First of which, and I'm very excited to see the light of day, are the Sonzera family amps. 20-watt combo, 50-watt combo, and a 50-watt head. The 20 is powered by small bottle 6L6s, and the 50 watts are both powered by EL34s. I'm going to start with the 20, and I'll talk about some similarities. First of all, they both have bias jacks on the back, effects loops. They're both two fully independent channel, foot switchable amps. Super versatile, obviously. The 20 watt, you've got a master presence and reverb, beautiful sounding reverb circuit on both of these amps. You can really crank it, and it's really lush and warm and dark, but it stays behind the notes. It never is overpowering. So even if you like really wet reverb, you can crank this anywhere on the dial and it's usable. The clean channel on this really feels like a familiar, like late 60s or late 50s, mid 60s single channel style amp. Bass, treble, and volume. And once you get the volume to about here, it starts to break up nicely. Where the Archon and the two-channel custom were really designed to be a little bit more modern in the clean channel. All clean headroom. You crank them up and they stay clean. This breaks up here. Like if you're used to the vintage amps, you'll love the way this breaks up. You start getting up here and you get a really nice low gain crunch out of it when you dig in. I personally love that. It's a blast to play. They sound huge, really warm. The drive channel, again, really changes as you go through the master volume and you really start to get to open up that master volume. The 20 watt is still, this will get you through a gig over a drummer without a PA. It's still got plenty of headroom. I've gigged with these, both of them quite a bit, kicking the tires on them, and I'm really surprised at how much headroom you get out of this little thing. It has the addition of a mid control on the lead channel and a bright switch. So the reverb and the channels are foot switchable. Once you jump up to the 50 watt head, or combo, because the chassis is larger, they use a larger box for the combo, a little bit more robust in the low end. The smaller box of the 20 watt has that a little more tight mid-range sound that you expect from the smaller combos, like you hear the Deluxes and Princetons and stuff like that have a sound because of the size of the cab. You'll get that with that. It really matches the amp. Once you get into this, you get much more robust low end. The mid-range changes a lot. But in the control layout, what you get, because they had more real estate on the chassis, you get the addition of a mid-range control on the clean channel also. The clean channel also has a bright switch, and there's actually one of my favorite features is you have a separate reverb knob for each channel. So if you want to dial your clean channel nice and wet, but just a little subtle verb, or all or nothing, however you want it, it's a really nice feature to be able to independently adjust the reverb. I have been using a 50 watt combo for about a year now, off and on, while we've been kind of developing this. And I use it a little bit at the time with a gain channel, which sounds great, but I can speak with conviction that it is an incredible pedal platform amp. So for any players who are looking for that, beautiful, huge, warm sounding, vintage sounding clean channel that takes drives and pedals beautifully, and the price point is amazing. Like Paul really was like, we need to get something in that sub $1,000 category that has been road tested. They've told me to drop it, bang it into the side of the stage, make sure this thing is going to hold up. People looked at me kind of funny when I'm carrying it on, banging it into the walls, but I'm like, they told me to do it. And they're robust and roadworthy. They sound like $1 million. They look great. And real quick, released at the same time as another very exciting amp, the John Mayer Mod 100 Signature. Let's squeeze through in here and have a quick look at that. Excuse me real quick. So with the Mod 100, as you can see, a fairly similar aesthetic to the Sonzera and the grill cloth and the piping and stuff. This is a single channel amp. You've got the input drive control, where down here you'll have plenty of clean headroom, but again, it breaks up beautifully as you bring it up. Bright switch and really sweet sounding EQ. Here we have, it's not a drive channel, it's an extra gain stage in an effects loop after the preamp. So it sounds very different than putting a preamp drive control, but because it's a single channel, all of this affects what it sounds like. This does not disengage any of this. So if I have this pushed and this drive down, it's a particular voice. If I turn this down and drive this, you get a whole nother character. If I push both of them, it gets into this really crazy woolly harmonic content. It's just gorgeous sounding, very vintage sounding amp, very warm sounding amp, but stays extremely percussive and big at any volume. It's a dream to play. Here we have a master presence and overall output. I've actually used a prototype of this on a handful of gigs. Surprisingly, even though it's 100 watts, 4.6 L6s, it's very manageable, even in a club gig or small club gigs. At lower stage volumes, it still sounds fantastic. It's don't be discouraged by the 100 watt platform. I've been able to open it up a lot more than I thought I'd be able to. Another aspect of this that they worked very hard on, and John was thrilled with, was the fact that the effects loop, he did not want onboard reverb. He wanted to be able to, he's got a couple reverbs that he really loves, and he wants to be able to maybe possibly change it out. So instead of putting it on onboard reverb, it was very important that the effects loop worked the way he wanted. He said this, he had never played an amp that had a more transparent effects loop. They were plugging in, unplugging, switching it on and off, putting different things in the loop, and with absolutely no change to the tone or volume. There is a send and return level, so if you want to run like a studio quality, like a +4 dB effect or a pedal, instrument level effect, you can run any kind of effect through there and match the levels as need be. But if you ever get a chance to plug into one of these and play it, just hide your credit card, because you're going to want it. It's one of the most enjoyable amps I've played in my life. So that's the J Mod 100 Sonzera. A lot of new exciting stuff from the PRS amp line for 2017.